Hi, this is Angela G. from No Longer Lukewarm for Red Hot Christians and Wannabes. These videos are for people who like to listen while they're maybe doing something else. If you'd like to read my blog post, you can find the URL in the description box below. So this one is called God Answered the Prayer I Did Not Pray. From the time I was a child, I've always been an independent person. I even remember jerking away from my mother as she tried to help me tie my shoes, saying, "I do it." In the world, independence is a good thing. It keeps us responsible for our own affairs and moving toward a life away from our parents' couch. As Christians, though, we must remember that ultimately it's not always up to us to do things on our own. Instead, it's in our very own weakness that God shows himself strong. Recently, God taught me that lesson by answering a prayer I did not pray. The setup. That day I had gone to Costco to pick up a few items, and I found a great deal on water. Getting the giant pack into my cart wasn't hard because I was able to use gravity to swing it down from the tall stack with a thump. Getting it out of the cart would prove to be another matter. I'm not physically strong at all, and after securing everything else into my vehicle, I found myself alone in that parking lot trying to lift that water. I would strain and get the heavy pack almost up to the top of the cart before watching helplessly as it fell back down. The verse. Then the verse from 2 Corinthians 12:9 popped into my head, and he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." So I said a prayer. Lord, if your strength is made perfect in my weakness, give me the strength to lift this heavy pack of water out of my cart. I lifted again, harder before, with the same results. The answer. After a few more times, panting and grunting and bulging my eyes, a family pulled up a few spaces away. It was a mom, a dad, and a teenage boy. Without any prompting, the boy came directly over to my cart and offered to lift the water. A moment later it was done, and I thanked him profusely. He even took my cart back to the corral for me. I considered the situation. I had prayed for God to give me some sort of burst of supernatural strength to lift the heavy item for myself, but I really just wanted the water in the truck. God had answered the prayer I did not pray, sending instead another pair of stronger arms. The lesson. I then reconsidered the verse. It's not about God making us strong enough to do things for ourselves. It's about leaning on his provision to get things done. He never promised to take away our weakness. He promised to meet our needs despite them. Too many times I realized I really just want to be able to do things myself. It's easier somehow not to involve other people in my own messy life. But God doesn't work that way. If I had been able to lift that water myself, I would not have witnessed God moving on my behalf, and that boy would not have received the blessing of helping a stranger in need. I also realized that at other times, I am the one who is blessed when God sends me to help. I think that's where the rest of Paul's sentiment comes from. Therefore, most gladly will I rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. God delights in taking care of his children and shows himself strong on their behalf. The very weakness that we see as a hindrance is sometimes just an opportunity for God to work in our lives.